Hello everyone, welcome to your Easy Math and Easy Numbers channel. I will be teaching you guys how to do different math problems, trying to explain it to you guys in a way that makes sense and that it is easy to understand and follow. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing that we are going to be studying is the place value. Why place value? Because I think it's important to know the basics of math before we move on to other things. That way I'm going to be showing you guys how to do different problems in math is going one step at a time. We're going to start with the basics and then build up from there. So let's get started. Place value. How do we know how much money or what quantity or how much it is of something, right? If we don't know the place value. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the whole number side and the first two digits of the decimal side, but let's learn them. We work with this every day or very frequently when we do any sort of money transaction. When we go to the store and we buy something, we are given a bill, right? This is how much you owe us, and then we pay. Now, how will we know if it's the right amount or not without knowing the place value, right? So let's begin first of all by marking two things. First, we notice that there's a decimal place value right there, right? Decimal point. And we have two sides essentially. The right side is going to be our decimals section. Decimals are essentially parts of one whole, but we don't get exactly to the one whole. If we do, then we move it over to the other side, which is a lesson that we will see later on. So this is the decimal side. Now to the left side of the decimal point, we have the whole numbers. Whole numbers. Okay. Let's also notice another thing. On the whole number side, we have a separation with commas. Why is that? We simply use it to make our lives easier and to be able to read the amount a lot faster and in a much easier way. How do we know where the comma goes? The comma will go after every 3 digits. Okay, so we start counting from the very end of the numbers or the amount that we're given, and we count 3 digits. So 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. Now, let's say that this number wasn't here. Will we still use the comma? No. Only when you have, let's say, enough numbers. Okay, so this comma wouldn't be necessary right there. All right. Now, let's talk about the names of the place value. So every number that we're using here is the 1. Okay. Now, even though it's the same number, each one holds a different value. Why is that? Because each one is in a different place, different location. So even though the first one is a 1 and the last one is also a 1, they are very different amounts. This one is a ones, this one is a million, right? So the number itself is not going to determine the value that it gives, but the location where it is. That's the key. Okay, so if you have your decimal point right there, and you have the first digit, then that's for the ones. Second digit, tens, hundreds, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. I want you to notice a pattern. These first three, ones, tens, hundreds, essentially repeat themselves, but with the new value. See how it has a 1, the 10, and the 100, but now we are working with the thousands. Okay, so 1,000, 1,000, 100,000, and so on. It will happen the same way with the millions. Okay, now on the decimal side, we don't have ones. We don't have a section for ones. Remember, decimals are part of a 1 or of a whole, but not exactly there. So we start with the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Okay. Let's imagine that the ones were not there and that this is a piece of paper that we have in front of us. If we were to fold the piece of paper exactly at the middle where the decimal point is, the pink will touch the pink, purple will touch the purple, and so on, meaning that essentially both sides are a mirror of each other. Okay, notice a color, notice the name. It just changes, but it's essentially the same patterns that we follow: tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. Remember, the only one that does not appear in the decimals is the ones. Now, let's say that we have an amount. I don't know. Let's just write a couple of numbers, right? Right there, like this. And apparently there is no decimal point. Now in math, there is a decimal point. Even if we don't see it, it's an imaginary decimal point. If we don't see it, it's always at the very end. Okay, we can always add it there and add 2 zeros. When we go to the store and we purchase something, the receipt that we get always has a decimal point and 2 digits. It doesn't go past 2 digits. Okay, so that is the reason why we can do this. But most importantly, because this does not change the original amount. It just makes it easier for us to know the place value. Let's say if we're being asked to give the place value of a digit, then that will make it easier. Just a little tip if you guys want to use it. Now let's look at some examples. What is the positional value or the place value of the underlying number? Okay, so we have a couple examples over here. Let's begin with the first one. So we have the 4 that is underlined, right? The 4 is in the tens place value. How do I know that? Well, I know that there is, visibly, there is not a decimal point written, right? But I remember that I can just add it, right? And add 2 zeros. If that helps me, then I can use it. And I recommend that you guys use whatever little tips. I will be giving you guys different tips as we go along with the videos. Use whatever helps you. Okay, so if you're a visual person, then this might be an aid when you're working with these type of problems. If you don't see it, just add it to the very end, add 2 zeros, and you're good to go. Unless there is a decimal point already written, then you cannot do this because it's already there. You cannot have 2 decimal points in the same amount. Okay, so I'm being asked what the place value is for the number 8. So I know that after the decimal point to the left side, we have the ones, then tens, then the hundreds. Okay, this one, the very first digit, ones. Okay, another one. Now this one is the number 7 over here. Let's see. We have ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Very good. This one, the 3 on this location, we have 2 3s, right? But this one, not this one holds a different place value, but this one is in the millions place. All right. And now the last 2, we have a written decimal already there. So the first one, we have what? After the decimal point, remember there is no ones. We start with the tenths and then the hundreds. So this one is in the hundreds place value. In the last example, what do we have here? Tens, hundreds. What else? So we said 1, 2, 3, 4 digit, right? Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So this one is in the 10,000s place value. All right, guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video.